Shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, who is called the bride of the Messiah. And shalom, shalom to the scattered Hebrew Israelites who are throughout the four corners of the earth, who are the bride of Yahuwah. Today, my brothers and sisters, I bring you a very interesting word, warning, and message. Okay? Most of you are aware about Donald Trump. Okay? And I'm going to put the link of this article for you because I want you to read it. For this is a wake-up call to you Negroes / African Americans / Israelites. For the title of this article is Donald Trump blasts NFL anthem protesters. Get that son of a bee off the field. I know y'all been seeing many videos on the channel about this comment, but the Most High want me to point out the true agenda here. The date of this article is Saturday, September the 23rd, 2017, done at 1843 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Okay, so let's change our screen over to the next tab. Which brings us to this, the title of the word today. The title of the word is Israelites and Gentiles. President Trump's comment to NFL and the source of Satan's false doctrines. I first want to open up the true hidden agenda, especially to you Negroes / African Americans / Israelites. For you're not seeing the hidden one behind the scenes. See, our forefather or one of our ancestors, named Moses, saw that hidden one when he dealt with the nation of Egypt, the Egyptians. Read Hebrews chapter 11, and then you begin to understand what the book of Ephesians was warning you, Negroes / Israelites. We're not dealing with flesh and blood. We're dealing with principalities, spirits, and angels. Okay? I'm here to warn you, be careful how the Europeans lure you into a trap. For they are trying to stir you up. They are trying to get you to commit certain actions, which bring forth these following things. Number one, what I have been noticing on YouTube, a lot of my fellow brothers and sisters who are Negroes / Israelites are going about themselves to try to solve the matter. You're trying to gather yourselves. You're trying to start your businesses. You're trying to go to Africa, which is where Israel is located. And this is why Africa is called the motherland, because Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Okay. So, you're trying to do things by your own hand. Now, I have reached out to some fellow brothers who have a voice on YouTube. I'm not going to mention their name because you know who you are. I have been reaching out to you because I've been asking you to share Yahuwah prophetic message. But for some reason, you're not taking heed to that. Again, you're going about in your own will. You have your own agenda. So this is what shall happen. Listen up. As long as you continue to do things your way and not submit to Yahuwah and not listen to his messages and follow his instructions, you shall continue to be vexed, oppressed, and afflicted by our enemies. No matter where you go in this world, you shall not escape the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. And you will see, because this is going to come to pass. I am only a messenger. I am only a sister to you and a servant of Yahuwah, sent out to warn you. Okay? So now let us begin the word and understand the source of Satan's false doctrines. Okay? The date of this word is September the 23rd, 2017 AD. And on Satan's calendar, known as the Gregorian calendar of the Roman Empire, the heathen day is Saturn, known as Saturday. This is Satan, holy day, my brothers and sisters. And the phase of this day is at night. And on the Most High calendar, today is the 7th month and 3rd day. And the 3rd day of his calendar in the 7th month falls on September the 23rd to September the 24th, from sundown to sundown. For our Father is a Father of light. Therefore, we are the children of light. And this is why his day ends from light to light. But the children of Satan in that calendar, they begin from midnight to midnight. Something to truly understand. Also, the Gregorian calendar of the Roman Empire should not give you the Most High 7th day. On the channel, you will find a playlist of videos or videos telling you about the missing days in their calendar, including America and Italy. Check that out in your spare time, but let us proceed. It's very important that you check the video description box for all the important announcements, especially with Yahuwah prophetic messages. It's very important that you do so in this last days, especially Israelites/Negroes. For Yahuwah is speaking through his prophets and prophetess, giving you instructions so you can be spiritually prepared, so you can be Exodus. But if you do not follow his instructions, you shall receive the plagues that is coming upon this whole world. Okay. Also, there are some of our brothers and sisters who are truly bearing their spiritual cross, such as Brother Eliash and their family. Please keep them in your prayers. And also on the channel, there's 2 other videos that give 2 of my sisters' testimony of their affliction. One sister nephew has been brutally beaten by the police and was stripped naked. And another sister lost her daughter to the Europeans police force. Okay. And her life was taken. When you get a chance, watch those videos, share their testimonies, because it's time for the Negroes/Israelites, who are the children of Israel, to wake up. Okay, now let us proceed. Let's see. Now we should go to this tab. This tab was put together for you so you would have access to the Most High prophetic messages. Okay, and the title of this is Yahuwah Messages, 12 Tribes of Israel and the Gentiles. Okay. In this playlist, you will find Yahuwah speaking himself through his messengers, which fulfill Acts chapter 2 and Joel chapter 2. Okay. And in this playlist, you may find some videos that has been deleted because of what Sister Deborah Brown, the prophetess in the wilderness, had mentioned in one of her videos. So I'm not going to take those deleted videos out. I'm going to leave them there because we never know what may change. But it's something that she has said in her video that is coming to pass now. So in the playlist, what I did, I included this video, okay, by Truth Unveiled 777. It's dealing with the meeting that the United Nations is having now in the month of September. And in his video, there is a segment in there that is showing you and confirming unto you, Europeans, and to the Gentiles, that your own government and your own people shall be turning against you. That is what Sister Deborah Brown has prophesied unto you. And it's been coming to pass because she's been telling y'all, even your own people is warning you and you're not taking heed to the message. Watch that video that Truth Unveiled had put out on the United Nations in this playlist. For that woman who is warning you, your own kind, has been labeled as a conspiracy theorist. And she's giving you information about Agenda 21, which deal with depopulation. Something that you need to watch. Okay. Now that we have went over to that, now let's go to the word, to the juicy part. the source of Satan's doctrine. Okay? Some of you may not be understanding why we see all these false doctrines and where they're coming from. Also among some of the One West Hebrew Israelite camps, they too are carrying some of these false doctrines. See, when you are taught by the Spirit of Yah, he shall reveal unto you the root. And he let me know they are all the same. See, they play a game like they are against one another, but they actually working for the same principality. And that principality and that root is Satan. Yes, talking about the Jewish people who are the sons of Esau and the sons of Japhet. Talking about the Roman Catholics. That's Esau kingdom as well, the Roman Empire. Talking about the KKK. And even some of my brethren, because their camps now has been infiltrated by some of the agents of Satan, and they have spread their false doctrines to them as well. But when you study the history of their founder, you will learn that he came from the commandment keepers. And when you study the history of the commandment keepers, you will learn that they had heavily ties with the Jewish people. So they was also influenced by the Jewish beliefs. This is why we see in these false doctrines. So you will have access to this Google Note. I just want you to listen and pay attention. The title of this Google Note is The Source of the False Doctrines of Some of the One West Hebrew Israelite Camps, the Roman Catholics, and the Jewish people. Okay? And this also includes the KKK and any other hate group or group that spread false doctrines which support Satan and his lies. Now, the first thing you see on the Google document is a photo. And at this time, I'm not able to read it because I'm doing this video on my cell phone. But when you click on the Google document, you will see all the things that the Jewish people believe. And I also put the video where I got this photo from so you can hear it for yourself. There's also another channel that talks about some of the Jewish beliefs, some of their wicked beliefs, which come from the Talmud. Okay. And that channel is Hebrew Nation Building. Okay. You have access to the channel link as well as to the video that talks about some of the Jewish belief in the Talmud. That is in video 1 that has been titled Reform Apologetics Destroyed. When you get some time, definitely watch those videos. Okay. So what we had learned about the Talmud, which is the source of Satan's false doctrines, is that the sons of Esau and the sons of Esau has an ancient trait that still remain in today. And the ancient trait they carry is red hair. And they had mixed themselves among the other nations, which brought forth another hair color, which is known as brunette. From you take black hair to mix with red hair, you get brunette. So this doctrine of saying that Edom don't exist or Edom cannot be found, that's not true. They too can be identified by the prophecy that is listed in Genesis chapter 25 and Genesis chapter 27. And they are the smallest nation among the European nations. Even some of them have freckles. And when you study about freckles, you know that it's melanin. Okay. But let us keep going. So the sons of Esau and the sons of Japheth, Israeli laws confirm who they truly are. Read Revelations chapter 2 and 9 and 3 and 9. For they are truly the synagogue of Satan, the house of Satan, the tabernacle of Satan. You can also go to sacredtext.com to read the Talmud, and you shall see that they truly serve Satan and not Yahuwah. Okay, so now let's bring us to this, because we need to get an understanding. Why do in this world people commit pedophilia or want to have sex with children? Why is that in the earth? Okay. Also, you want to get an understanding. Why is there some One West Hebrew Israelite camps believe that you can marry a young woman at the age of 10 or when she receives her menstrual cycle? Okay. And to understand why these things exist in the earth, You have to go back to the source, to the root. Okay, so that's where we're going at now, so we can get understanding where this is coming from, okay? Because it's not in the word of the Most High in the 1611. So this article here gives you more understanding why this perverse spirit of wanting, of people wanting to sleep with children exists in the earth. And the title of this article is Talmud, Pedophilia. The Jewish religion allows sex with 3-year-old baby girls and little boys under 9. Now you want to take this time now to pause your screen to get these references that comes from the Talmud, because when you read it, your mouth gonna drop. For they truly are the synagogue of Satan. They are converts. They're not the children of Israel. See, when you read Deuteronomy chapter 32, you will learn they are that foolish nation that the Most High have raised up to make the true children of Israel jealous, who are the Negro/Israelites. Deuteronomy chapter 32, read that. Okay. So this article was done by Reverend Ted Pite on March the 2nd, 2014 AD. And I also list the other sources that he mentioned in his article so you can do a further study. And you will have access to this article as well. So now we begin to see where this perverse idea, or where this perverse wicked act is coming from. It's coming from Satan and his doctrines. That perverse spirit. Okay. Which brings us to this question, because you need to ask yourself this. Here's another thing to ask yourself. What about the 12-year rule? And where does this comes from? And we know the 12-year rule, or what they teach us in the Christian church. Okay. They say that when a child becomes 12, they now have understanding and knowledge between good and evil. So you need to ask yourself, where does this come from? Because this cannot be found nowhere in the King James 1611 Bible or any other version of the King James Bible. Cannot be found. So where did this come from, my brothers and sisters? It came from the Talmud and from the Jewish people. Again, they truly representing who they are, for they are the synagogue of Satan. And here's more proof, because I went to a Jewish site. I went to chadbag.org. Okay, because this person had this question here. I know that a girl has her bat mitzvah on her 12th Hebrew birthday, and a boy has his bar mitzvah when he turns 13. Why are these two age groups designated for this milestone, and why do boys lag behind by a year? Very good question. Now we're going to see what their response was to this person. Okay, here's their response. The ages of 12 and 13 are around the time when most young adults typically begin to physically mature and reach puberty. Additionally, when a boy turns 13 and a girl turns 12, they are considered to have reached the age of maturity, a time when they have developed enough understanding to be responsible for their actions. Now that verse you want to highlight. I'm going to read this part again. To have reached the age of maturity, a time when they have developed enough understanding to be responsible for their actions. Therefore, they are called a bar/bat mitzvah, which literally means a son/daughter of the commandment, or a man/woman obligated to do mitzvah, since they are now responsible for keeping Torah and its mitzvah. So what they basically telling you, that when a young girl becomes 12, she has now become a woman. And when a young boy becomes 13, he has now become a man. And they are held accountable to know the difference between good and evil. Okay. They're also held accountable to keep the commandments. Let us keep going. Now we're going to read a footnote to even confirm what I'm telling you is true. According to Jewish law, a child becomes an adult only when they reach the age of bar or bat mitzvah, and also shows the signs of physical maturity that normally happens at this stage. Take this time now to pause the screen to get the list of those books that come from the Talmud. Okay? Let us keep reading. They also say, see Maimonides' Laws of Ishhut, chapter 2, as to what these signs are. So, for example, when a young girl has her menstrual cycle, that is a sign unto them she is now a woman. Okay, for the Jewish people. But let us continue. For matters of rabbinic nature, for example, being called up to the Torah or being chazan, we consider a 12 or 13-year-old an adult, on the presumption that most boys that age have physically matured. In matters of Torah obligation, however, it's necessary to ensure that the child has reached puberty. So what the Jewish people is telling you is, again, when a boy or a girl go through puberty, they now have become an adult. They now are a man or a woman, and they now have understanding and knowledge between good and evil. Now, you too will have access to this website. The link is listed in the Google document, in which you will also have access to this Google document as well. But let us keep going. Now we're going to see about the word of the Most High. And I want to say this first before we start reading these following paragraphs. Whether or not you have access to the hidden books, the answer is in the 1611. And the only way this answer can be revealed unto you, you have to be taught by the Spirit of Yah, which is the Messiah's Spirit, who is called the Comforter. And only the Comforter can bring you the fullness of Yah, a mystery that many do not understand. For we now, Israelites and Gentiles, males, females, bond, free, circumcised, uncircumcised, bond, barbarian, Scythian, are to be taught by the Messiah's Spirit. We are no longer are to be taught by man who is flesh. Okay? So again, the 1611 Bible has all the answer. The evidence is there. But your eyes have to be open, and your ears, and your heart has to be unhardened for the Spirit to show you these hidden things. Now let us proceed. The book of Jubilees will confirm Rebecca was 20 years of age or in her 20s. Depending on the translation or translator, the book of Jasper has 2 ages, 10 or 13 years of age. So when you go to these hidden books, what you have to learn is that the heathens / Gentiles has translated our sacred scrolls. So there is a possibility that they have changed some things or twisted some things. And the only way to know what is true and what is a lie, you have to have the Spirit of Yah and a good foundation from the King James 1611. That is your foundational book. That book is the truth of the Most High. Do not put it away. Okay? It is your book to use against the other books. So when something do not align with the King James 1611 and the Spirit of Yah give you that confirmation, do you know what the heathens have done? Okay? But let us proceed. A boy or girl that goes through puberty does not make them a mature man or woman at the age of 13 years and up for males, nor at the age of 12 years and within the first 6 months of showing signs of puberty. So just because a boy or girl goes through puberty does not make them a man or a woman. Listen up, Hebrew Israelite brethren. Just because a young girl has her menstruation cycle does not make her a woman. Okay? You have to understand her mind and her soul is not matured yet. Okay? Everything has to be in balance. But let us continue. So when you go to the 1611 Bible and when you read Numbers chapter 5 and chapter 13 to chapter 14 and the book of Joshua chapter 14 verse 6 to 7, it will confirm unto you that the adult age of a man and a woman is 20 years of age. For example, when you read Joshua chapter 14, 6 to 7, Caleb was 40 years old when he was sent out to Kadesh Barnea. This was the period of time when my ancestor was sent into the land of Canaan to be spies, and they realized there was giants in the land. Okay, and we're gonna talk more about this biblical event. Okay, but at that time, Caleb was 40 years old, and you will see why this fact is important. But keep that in the back of your mind till we get to that section in this video, okay? But these two books, Numbers and the book of Joshua, will confirm that the adult age of a man and a woman is 20 years old, 20 years of age. Now, the false doctrines that come from the Jewish people can be found in the Talmud under these following books, okay? And what I did for you, I put the link where you have access to the Talmud, okay? As well as to the article of pedophilia, okay? And how it's promoted among the Jewish people. But let us keep going. Let us read this paragraph now. It's like taking an unripened fruit before it fully mature. It's like taking an unripened fruit before its full maturity. A young girl's mind has to be mature along with the body, and she must know right from wrong, good from evil, as written in the book of Deuteronomy and Numbers chapter 13 to chapter 14. So now we're going to read Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 39, but in your spare time read chapter 6, because this is the confirmation of what I'm telling you, okay? Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 39. Moreover, your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day have no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it. So our children who have no understanding between good and evil, they have to be taught, my brothers and sisters, which is also confirmed in Deuteronomy chapter 6 as well. Okay, now we're going to go to Numbers chapter 14, and we're going to read starting at verse 26, because now we're going to get the age when a boy becomes a man and when a girl becomes a woman. Okay, and we're going to get the confirmation of what age they receive understanding between good and evil, between right and wrong. So now we're going to read Numbers chapter 14, and we're going to start at verse 26. And the Most High spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, How long shall I bear with this evil congregation which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me. Say unto them, As truly as I live, saith Yahuwah, as ye have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you. See, the Father don't like us to complain. The Father don't like us not to have faith in him and to be double-minded, Negroes/Israelites and Gentiles. Take heed to this biblical event to make sure that you don't repeat the same thing when he exodus you into the wilderness. Okay, let us continue to read. Verse 29. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me. Now that verse you want to highlight. So what he's doing, Yahuwah, our Father in heaven, is holding those accountable for their murmuring, starting at the age of 20 years and older. This is the proof, my brothers and sisters, what I'm telling to you, of when a boy becomes a man, and when a girl becomes a woman, and when they have understanding and knowledge between good and evil. It starts at the age of 20 and upward. Let us continue. Verse 30. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. Now this verse you want to highlight, because now it's bringing us back to Joshua chapter 14 verse 67. Because at this time Caleb was 40 years old. And Joshua was also spared. So they two was the only two allowed to go into the land of Canaan with the children who was under the age of 20. Okay. Something to think about, but let us continue to read. Verse 31. But your little ones which ye said should be a prey, them would I bring in, and they shall know the land which ye have despised. But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness. Now, verse 31 is tying back into Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 39. Again, what age is a person considered to be a child? When they are less than 20 years of age. Okay, but let us continue to read. Verse 33, and your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years and bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. After the number of the days in which ye search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year, shall ye bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise. So for that murmuring, it was a total days of 40 days. So for each of the 40 days, he gave them a year to wander in the wilderness, which is why they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Verse 35. I, Yahuwah, has said, I will surely do it until all this evil congregation that I gather together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. So take heed to this biblical event, my brothers and sisters. Do not murmur against him. Do not be double-minded, and do not lack faith, for he do not like it. Because this time, as written in Ezekiel chapter 20, he's going to purge out the rebels, the complainers, the murmurers. Okay. You shall also have access to this chapter where we just read, and the link is provided in the Google document. Now, there's another part in the Bible where we'll also confirm what I'm telling you about women. Okay. And it's located in the Apocrypha in a book called Susanna, and we're going to read chapter 1, verse 1 through 5. For in this book, it will confirm the birth of the Talmud, and that women are taught the laws of Moses. See, what goes for the boy also go for the girl, because the women teach the children and the older women teach the young women. Yes. So we have to know what our men know too. But let me read the chapter summary. The chapter summary of Susanna chapter 1 is, 2 judges hid themselves in the garden of Susanna to have their present of her, which when they could not attain, they accused and caused her to be condemned for adultery. But Daniel examined the matter again and found the 2 judges false. There's a part of this left off, so I'm going to have to go to that chapter right quick and read that for you. Let me see, can I find it? Bear with me, so I apologize about that. See here. It's going to bring it up, and we're going to go to that chapter now. As soon as I can get to the top. And we go to the book of Susanna in the Apocrypha. And we're going to access the 1611 version. Okay. I have to scroll all the way down to get the picture, so I can get the chapter summary. So yeah, that was the correct summary. I thought I had left something else. So nothing was left off. Okay, so let's go back to the other tab. And here we go. Now we're going to read verses 1 through 5. And now we're going to see, how did the Talmud come about? When was it created? Okay. All right. Starting at verse 1. There dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, a very fair woman, and one that feareth the Most High. And we know those who fear the Most High, that is the beginning of wisdom. Let us proceed. Her parents also were righteous and taught their daughter according to the laws of Moses. Now you want to highlight this. Now, this is proof and evidence that the girls are taught the same thing the boys are taught with dealing with the covenant that the Most High made with my people in Mount Sinai, also known as Horeb. Okay. Also to the Christians and to the Christian apologetics and to the Reform apologetics, you have no understanding of the Most High law. See, the law existed in the beginning. Again, you have to go back to the beginning of the book. And proof of this is that when the Most High planted his spirit, which is his heart, in Adam, that spirit taught Adam, mankind, how to worship and serve the Most High, and what is his law, statute, judgment, and commandments. And there's many proof before Moses received the covenant, such as this. Noah knew how to do offerings and sacrifices. How did he know this? Because of Yah's spirit. And when you learn further about mankind, you will learn that man no longer listened to Yah's spirit. So his spirit fled the flesh because they was doing wickedness. But his spirit only remained with the righteous, such as Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay. Read Genesis chapter 6, verse 3, and that's proof of that. But let's continue. Also, in his word, it teaches not to eat blood or eat human flesh, which is also confirmed in the book of Acts. See, nothing has changed, but y'all just not understanding the mystery of the new covenant versus the old covenant. Okay. Old covenant is dealing with carnal things, and the new covenant is dealing with spiritual things. A mystery that many Christians of the Roman Christianity do not understand. And the reason I say of the Roman Christianity, because if you are keeping Sunday as the Most High Holy Day, keeping Easter, keeping Christmas, and following the Gregorian calendar, you have been indoctrinated by the Roman Empire, which is the fourth beast that the prophet Daniel is talking about. Especially read Daniel chapter 7. But let us get back on track. So when you go back to the beginning of the book, the law always existed, such as, for example, Abraham knew to marry the kindred of Abraham knew only to marry a woman of his kindred, which was also passed down to Isaac, which was also passed down to Jacob. For it saddened Rebekah and Isaac when Esau married the women of Canaan. It saddened them. Go back. Also, our forefather Judah had instructed for Tamar to be burned at the stake because he had thought she committed adultery. Do you not know that same law is written in the law of Moses? See, that's proof that the law always existed because the Spirit of Yah taught us these things. It taught us how to worship Yahuwah, what sacrifices to have, and it taught us his laws, his statutes, his judgments, and it taught us his ways, his understanding, his morals, his ethics, his integrity. A mystery that you do not understand. But now let us get on back track. So as we can see here, we have proof that girls are taught the same thing as boys. Okay. So now let us read verse 4. Now Joachim was a great rich man and had a fair garden joining unto his house, and to him restored the Jews, because he was more honorable than all others. Verse 5. The same year were appointed 2 of the agents of the people to be judges, such as the Most High spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon, from ancient judges who seemed to govern the people. So these 2 judges that commit a great transgression against the Most High and against Susanna, we can see where the source of that wickedness came from. Babylon, ancient Babylon. And when you do a further study, even the book of Jasper will mention that this is where the book, which is called the Talmud, came out of from. It came from the kingdom of Judah, the house of Judah. And in this kingdom of Judah, you have these groups of people. You have the tribe of Judah, tribe of Benjamin, tribe of Levi, and you have the remnant of the northern kingdom. So you still have a representation of all 12 tribes in the kingdom of Judah, also known as the house of Judah. Okay. So this is where this wicked book comes from. Again, it started with my people, but then it went to the converts, who are the Jewish people today, which are the sons of Esau and the sons of Japheth. Now we can really see the connection, the root. Just as the Messiah had warned the Pharisees about what they were doing, because they didn't follow the Torah, they didn't follow the word of the Most High, they followed their forefather ways and traditions. When you read the book of Josephus, you will see that. He mentions that too as well. Okay. So you will have access to the book of Susanna, and the link will be provided in the Google document. Okay. Which brings me to this. I didn't get a chance to add this, but maybe later on. Even Josephus gave his life account. And he mentioned the time he was 14 years old. And he even said at the time he was still a young boy. For he was also receiving his training and understanding in the law of Moses. That's another proof unto you that I'm giving to you. So in conclusion of this, when a young girl has her period or going through puberty, that does not make her a woman. Because her mind and soul is not spiritually mature. She is still learning the law of Moses, or the word of the Most High, which pertains to keeping his commandments, laws, statute, and judgment. Therefore, she would not make a good wife unto you, Hebrew Israelites, for she's too young. She's not mature. That fruit is not ripe. Okay? Also, the word revealed unto us that when a child receives understanding and knowledge between good and evil, it starts at the age of 20. And proof of that can be confirmed in Numbers chapter 13 to Numbers chapter 14. Okay? Now let's bring us to the Immaculate Conception, because some of my brothers who are Hebrew Israelites, and some sisters too, think that the Immaculate Conception pertains to the birth of the Messiah. It does not. Now they are correct. It comes from the heathen. It's the doctrine of the Gentile. But they err in who it pertains to. Okay? It pertains to Mary's birth. So I put the link for you, so you have access. It's on wikipedia.org. And the title of the article is Immaculate Conception. I'm going to read this paragraph to you. The Immaculate Conception doctrine is dealing with Mary's birth, not the birth of the Messiah. The doctrine of incarnation is dealing with the Messiah's birth. These doctrines come from the Roman Catholic Church, and some of the Hebrew Israelites camps have lied to you. Do you see now where the source of these false doctrines are coming from? Again, you have to seek Yah for his truth. But when you start denying his word, when the word tells you that he was born of a virgin and you start denying truth, Yah will leave you to your reprobate mind. He will allow you to fall into your own destruction. Something to really think about. Okay? Let me read this paragraph unto you. The virgin birth of the Messiah is true because the word of Yah says so. In the Old Testament and New Testament, for it is a sign that no man nor angel can claim or do it, but only Yahuwah. This is why Yahushua is the only begotten son of Yahuwah, and Joseph is not the father, for Yahuwah is his father. And also, most of you might be aware of this, Yahuwah is the originator of the Israelites, for he is an Israelite. Read Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 9, and there's a video on the channel that gives you more explanation of what that means. For he is the Israelite, for our Father in heaven is an Israelite, and he is the father of the Israelite. So this is how the Messiah becomes an Israelite, by blood and flesh and by spirit. But let us continue to read. No sex, no fornication involved, for Yahushua the Messiah is the second Adam, made from the earth of the flesh and blood of King David descended, who is Mary/Miriam. Those who denounce this sign or miracle has given an ear to the anti-Messiah spirit and shows no faith in the word of Yah. Okay. And there also is a video playlist that you can watch that goes over everything. It talks about the bloodline. It talks about the Old Testament, even Torah, all the things that some of the One West camps had come against and lied to you. So you have access to the video playlist also in the Google document. Even the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary will confirm unto you that the Immaculate Conception doctrine is pertaining to Mary's birth, not to the Messiah's birth. Okay, so take this time now to approach the screen to look at this. Now, another source that we're coming to that deals with why they deny the virgin birth and why they call Mary a harlot or a whore, and why they say Joseph is the father. For when you go to this link titled Talmud and History of Yahushua from the Jewish Perspective, you will see where this come from. It comes from the Talmud, and it also comes from another Jewish book titled Tolet Yeshu, which means history of Yahushua. Okay. So when you read this article, your mouth gonna drop. Okay. And what I also did to you, I went to Google as well. And what it says about the Sefer Tolet Yeshua, it says that this is a book of the history of Yahushua, or generation of Yahushua, or life of Yahushua. And it says that it is a I'm sorry, my tongue may mispronounce this, medieval anti-gospel or parody of the Christian gospel. It exists in a number of different versions, none of which are considered either canonical or normative within rabbinic literature, but which appear to have been widely circulated in Europe and the Middle East in the medieval period, though some scholars disagree with this claim. Okay, now notice where this was being circulated: in Europe and in the Middle East, because we know about the Jewish people. They actually Europeans. And some of them are the sons of Esau. But let us keep going. It says that the stories claim that Yahushua was an illegitimate child, and that he practiced magic and heresy, seduced women, and died a shameful death. But they also show a paradoxical respect for Yahushua, as Joseph Dan notes in the Encyclopedia Judaica. The narrative in all version treats Yahushua as an exceptional person who from his youth demonstrated unusual wit and wisdom, but disrespect towards his elders and the sage of his age. When you get a chance, check that out. I also put the link where, if you want to check more into that book. But this is where some of the One West Hebrew Israelite camps are getting their doctrine from, for they don't even realize this comes from their own natural enemy. Comes from the Jewish people, the Roman Empire, the Roman Catholics. They are all the same. And they don't even realize they're being deceived. Okay? So, in conclusion of this whole matter, my brothers and sisters, the Negro / African American / Israelites / children of Israel shall continue to be always oppressed and afflicted and vexed by the Europeans and by the other Gentile nations. No matter what they do, no matter what Israelites do, and no matter where we go, including Africa, our history and the 1611 Bible is the evidence that we will always be afflicted, vexed, and oppressed by enemies. And when you look at this article and you see what Donald Trump says, Negro / Israelite, it is your proof unto you of who you are and why we are still going through this. And now we're getting understanding how history is repeating itself and why things are not changing. For the children of Satan and Satan himself are trying to lure you into a trap. They want you to commit unrighteousness. Read 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and Revelation chapter 21. Negro / Israelites and to the cleaving Gentiles, they do not want you to inherit the kingdom of heaven. That's simple. So they are being very crafty with their tactics and trying to provoke you to do some unrighteous acts. Be wise and seek Yah and stop being stiff-necked. Share his message with your brothers and sisters. Download it on your YouTube channel and your Facebook. Get his word out, for he is now speaking through his prophets and prophetess, and he's giving us instructions, and he's confirming unto us what season we are in. Okay? So you will have access to this article as well. So let me read this. According to the word of Yah, we are not to bow down to any flag, which is confirmed in Deuteronomy chapter 5. Nor are we to pledge an oath to a country who do not follow the Torah nor the word of Yah. Negro / Israelites are to serve no man. We are to serve Yahuwah and follow Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, the Messiah. And their flag is for the European kingdom, the Roman Empire, which is the fourth beast prophesied by the prophet Daniel. Even when you study the history of the national anthem, they have removed several lines. For you will learn that it again was written for the Europeans and not for the Negroes. We wasn't free during that time, my brothers and sisters. Look up 1776 and you will learn that we were still in slavery. And when you study their constitution and their amendments and how they, added some things in for us, you will truly learn that we're still not free. We're not free. If we are, why we have to get passports? Why we have all these restrictions on where we have to go? Or why we have to have a license to drive a car when it's in the law that we don't need it? They are constantly oppressing us, vexing us, and afflicting us, Negroes. Wake up. So the Google document will have access to this video. Again, if you do not understand anything I said in this video, seek Yah. Read Luke 11:9-13. Seek Yah in all things. Don't seek man for the answer. Seek Yah. And ask in the name of his son, Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, the Messiah. For we are taught by the Messiah's Spirit, as written in 1 John chapter 2, verse 27, and John chapter 14 to John chapter 16. And please check the video description box and the pinned comment section to have access to Yahuwah prophetic messages. It's very important that we get his messages out to our brothers and sisters. Now let us close out in prayer. I plead the blood of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach upon this video and upon the links that is attached. Father, I pray for your people now that they seek you and that they realize they cannot deliver themselves by their hand. That they understand that they will need you, for you are our power and our deliverer. I pray that they listen to your message and not be stiff-necked and have an unhardened heart. I pray that they open their eyes, ears, and heart unto you and follow the instructions you have given to us. For you set the example through your servant Job. And when Job followed your instructions, you restored him to his prophet status and gave him more than what he had before. And you will do the same unto the Negroes/Israelites, but they have to come back unto you. I pray for our enemies, Father, for they truly are being deceived by Satan and his angels and his evil spirits. For they don't see the true deception that Satan has put upon this whole world. For they hate mankind, they envy mankind. And see, they ought to know where their faith is at. They know they're going to hell, but they are determined to bring mankind with them. So I pray that your children see the hidden one that's working behind the scene. For it was that same hidden one that was working through Pharaoh of ancient Egypt, and the same hidden one who convinced my people to crucify the Messiah. I also pray for Brother Eliasha, Sister Catherine's nephew, and for that other sister who lost her daughter, to comfort them and to give them the justice that they desire, and to minister unto them. And Father, for whoever else I have not prayed in this prayer, I ask that you fulfill it according to your will. In the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, so be it. So, my brothers and sisters, this concludes this video pertaining to Israelites and Gentiles, President Trump comment to NFL, and the source of Satan's false doctrines. For I hope you truly understand and not be deceived by Satan and his children, traps they are setting before you, Negroes/Israelites, and to the cleaving Gentiles. Beware and understand and take heed to these false doctrines. For you don't want to allow these false doctrines to allow you to be cut off from Yahuwah. For you want to enter into his rest, where there's no more pain, sorrow, death, affliction, heart bondage, etc. So continue, my brothers and sisters, to preach the gospel that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for it's truly at hand. For we are in the season for the Messiah to return, which is the 7th day from Adam, which is the 12,000 year from creation. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10. And make sure they are baptized in the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach. For the Lamb set the example of the water baptism and of the Holy Spirit baptism. And the apostles continued them, as confirmed in the book of Acts. For the water is the witness in the earth, to confirm unto Yahuwah that you had entered into the new covenant. And now you shall be sealed by the blood of the Lamb, as written in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 13 to 14. And the water baptism represent you being cleansed, holy, and sanctified unto Yahuwah, the carnal representation. And water baptism was also done in the Old Testament. The evidence is there. This is why Israel is called the Most High firstborn son, and why Ephraim is called his firstborn son as well. Read 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and Exodus chapter 17, verse 6, and you will see it. I love you all, and Shalom. And do you know who that's peace that's with you? Matthew chapter 28, verse 20. Think about it.